Ready, Amanda? Okay.
Yes.
I know we're all having fun.
Okay.
I'd like to call the Ways and Means Committee meeting to order if I could. Roll call, Heidi Nightingale. Here. Bob Shea.
Here.
Ben Vitale.
Here.
Tom Winslow.
Here.
All right, all committee members are here. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October 21st, 25.
I'll move the second.
Any questions? In favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do have, unlike this meeting, 11 resolutions. A lot of them are sort of end of the year ones, but before we get into all the resolutions, maybe we could see if any of the department heads have anything to add to their report, or if there's any questions. We can start with the treasurer, Dave Dempsey.
I don't have anything additional unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Dave? No, your new hire's going fine?
New hire's going fine. I want to thank you all again. If you remember a few weeks ago, we went through a very difficult process to make sure that we had somebody in our office to could pick up where Melinda Kostreva, who has been with us for many, many years, was leaving. And thank you and ask you for an exception to try to hire somebody that could help us train in advance. And you were kind enough to give me that hire, and it's worked out great. She's had 3 weeks. Melinda's had 3 weeks to train with her, and she's pretty much up to speed now. And I want to thank you again for your consideration there.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, next we'll get through the department reports and then we'll get into resolutions. Grace, is there anything you want to add to your?
Behind you.
Yep.
I really don't have anything additional to add unless anybody has any questions for me.
So you gave us an update on the sales tax and
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, the sales tax came in with November. We're at about 2.18% over last year, year to date.
Yep.
And looking at the projection, if we estimate about a 4% increase over last year for the remaining year, we'll be about 100,000 under budget. So
Okay, but it's
Even though we're
not
under this-
impossible to get to budget?
It's not impossible to get to budget.
Okay, because I don't want to be a downer.
Nope.
That's what Mr. Shea called me when I told him we have to look at compared to budget. Anything else, Grace?
No, just that, we did hire our accountant. She started Monday. So that's great news because for a few weeks, we were actually down 3 staff due to some temporary reasons for a couple individuals not being able to come in on family medical leave. But it's been very helpful that we actually have somebody that started Monday. So
And this
see a light at
individual
the end of
has
the
some
tunnel.
training or she has some experience with the department?
This individual actually was with the finance department and she's back with the finance department. So
Great.
that's great news for us. So we had virtually no training. She's even ready to go. So we're feeling good about that.
Jennifer, your report, did you have anything to add to your report?
Just in my last vote, I had asked the legislature to consider adding back the senior GIS specialist that's reduced from the budget. We even consider, if you could consider adding it back as a part-time position, it would be a huge help. But looking at having one person handle the job, 2 people, 40,000, that's a lot of deeds, transfers to review. And I know that our department is going to end up falling behind and you are going to end up hearing complaints from people at some point. So just if that would be considered.
Okay. Any other questions for Jenny? All right, Diane?
I don't have anything to add to my report. I'll just ask if anyone has any questions for me.
Any questions for Diane? All right, thank you. And then Amanda?
I don't have anything to add either, but if anybody had any questions.
Okay, are there any questions for Amanda? All right, thank you. All right, we can start with the ways resolutions. I'm going to hold Ways and Means 1 at the very end of the meeting. this meeting as well as the second half of the department presentations. And then if there is anyone ready to make any recommendations on amending the tentative budget, we can move forward with that at that point in time. I did speak with Tom Winslow this week, and you actually felt, Tom, that given the fact that some of the departments' budgets are being reviewed tonight, it may make sense to go ahead and have that meeting tomorrow.
That is correct. I believe my own opinion that we could, address and make some amendments tonight. But as far as finalizing the resolution to be voted on, I think would be wise to give us a day to process any information that comes in today. Just so we're not, missing anything that maybe was brought up and have us time to evaluate that.
And Fred, that special meeting, if we have it, would be specific to amendments to the tentative budget. That would be the agenda item.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and whatever is collected, that gets passed on to the legislative meeting so that there could be formal votes on those.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and the actual potential vote on the budget is set for December,
So the tentative with the Ways and Means recommendations will be voted on next week,
25th,
25th.
okay?
Public hearing is set. I don't have the dates in back of my head. December 8th,
9th,
9th, thank you.
Yep.
okay, and that's the hearing on what's going to be presented,
Hearing on the budget.
okay?
Passed by this body on the 25th, would be considered by the public in next meeting after that, yes.
And that would be like 2 days later. How do we usually you have to set the public hearing, wait 30 days, but
No,
in
no.
this instance, you just set the public hearing.
Public hearing has been set.
Yep,
You can either vote that night
okay, I see,
or at the final meeting of the year.
which is pretty close to that.
2 days.
11.
2 days later. Okay, all right. So it's the decision of the legislature to take that vote that night or wait for 2 days.
That's correct.
All right, okay, thanks. Okay, the Ways and Means, a lot of these are renewals or yearly amendment or yearly resolutions, but maybe we can get through them. Ways and Means 2, authorizing the chair of the legislature to sign. I was confused a little as it said amended municipal agreement because it's really not amended, is it? This is the renewal. You're extending it.
That's correct.
Okay, so amended might have been old language when we added. Okay. Okay, so basically this would be to amend the municipal corporate agreement with Auburn, Oneida, Oneonta,
Indiana City.
Soil and Water Conservation District and CCC, and to execute a 3-year agreement.
Move it. Second.
Okay, any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Ways and Means 3, authorizing the chair and the legislature to execute a membership participation agreement with New York State Municipal Workers' Comp Alliance. And that would be to go ahead and get an agreement with New York State Workers' Comp for a period of 2 more years as the current agreement ends at the end of this year.
I'll move 3.
Thank you. Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, WM4 is to authorize the closing of capital H projects, and there's a list of them on that resolution of the things that have been completed. And now finance can go ahead and close out those capital H's.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Authorize the Director of Finance to extend an audit agreement for 5 years, and that's with Drescher and Malecki. And this would be another extension of the agreement. And I see in the resolution that the amounts change each year, somewhere from 43 to 56,000 or something like that. Is that
It goes from
correct?
49.3 to 58.7
Okay, and
over the course of 5 years.
okay, and all right. Any questions on that? Move it.
Second.
Yeah, I'd like to do an amendment to it, maybe. I think 5 years, this legislature is going to be completely different. And I don't think it's good for us to make decisions for people that are going to be here in the future. I would put in an amendment to change it to say 3 years.
And I just, am I allowed to? The only thing I am gonna say is with working with Drescher Malecki. Well, I did work in conjunction with the purchasing. We did go out for quote. We're talking with Drescher Malecki. By doing this 5-year, they are keeping the rate down. And I'm just to give you this information. If we were to have gone out, this probably would have gone up quite a bit because the cost of these audits
I
have gone up.
I totally understand all that.
Okay.
In fact, when you change to another auditor, there's a learning curve and they're going to charge you for it.
Okay.
But again, I don't think it's necessarily wise of us make a decision for the future legislature. Just my opinion.
Does anyone want to second that?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay,
Amendment is.
changing the term to 3 years.
5 to 3 years.
My only question on that is, I don't disagree with you as far as the reason to change, but by changing from 5 to 3 and what's in the resolution with the price of the contract prorated out for 5 years, is that are we gonna have to go back and renegotiate that for 3 years so that this, the amendment won't be amended and we won't continue on with passing this today, passing or defeating it?
And again, I think if we negotiate collective bargaining agreements, they could be out 3 or 4 years. And we may not all be here, but those collective bargainings would be enforced. So okay, you got a motion to amend that resolution. Is there a second for the amendment?
No second.
Yes, Tom.
Yeah, second for discussion.
Okay. All right. What do I have to do? Ask for,
Amendment.
should we vote on the amendment to move this from 5 years to 3? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Amendment of the resolution now.
Now we're on the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the resolution as it's written?
It's already moved and seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Where are we now? WM6 is to authorize the corrections of tax errors in the amount of 2,500 or less.
Second.
Any questions on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Right? WM7 is to levy the taxes for the Cayuga County Water and Sewer Authority, Water District 3, Aurelius and Fleming, and Sewer District 2, which would be in Sterling. This is done on a yearly basis as well.
Correct.
Jenny? Yep.
Yes.
Second?
A second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Authorize the Director of Real Property Tax Services to apportion Cayuga Community College costs for tax purposes. This is also generally a regular resolution.
Yes, it's an annual resolution.
Okay, can I get a motion for this unless there's and a second?
I'll move it.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. WM9 is authorize the county treasurer to pay mortgage tax. Can I get a motion and a second for discussion?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, Shelley here? Okay, the only question I had, and maybe this is, I know there is an amount the county can keep for administrative purposes. I was just curious if that amount had been taken out of this $639,000. Because it looks like that is the total amount that they're spreading from the city of Auburn to all and the towns and villages. Yes.
There is an amount taken out. This is the amount after that's taken out.
Okay, so the administrative portion that we
It's already
wanted to
deducted.
is already out. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Do we have a motion? We have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. WM10, real property services, omitted taxes. authorizing the levy of omitted taxes. Okay, do you have anything to say about this, Jenny, or it's pretty self-explanatory?
Again, this is an annual resolution. Notices have already been sent to owners by assessors. So this is just adding it onto the bill.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
WM 11, prorated cost of services provided to the towns and the city of Auburn. Can I get a motion?
What,
Second? Yeah, I remember last year we had quite a bit of discussion about this, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the total amount was like 157, and it's gone up significantly this year.
Yes, I sent out, we evaluated it and then sent out notices in the spring to the towns that, of the amounts that we're going to be charged this year. The other change to this is also for the city of Auburn. They are now getting, a portion of the cost for our online assessment information service system. In the past, we have not appropriated that out to them, but they certainly can use that service.
Okay, any questions for Jenny? All in favor?
Aye.
Yep, thanks for your work on that, Jenny. Now, how do we do? All the PW Public Works resolutions were brought to this meeting. Do you want to review them, Ben? Do you want me to?
We're going there now?
Well, because they're in our agenda.
Well, I guess Health and Human Services was next. So yes, Public Works was, so I guess anybody can make a resolution, motion for PW one. Again, none of these went through committee because the committee didn't have a quorum. So here we are
Okay, we need a motion and second for discussion.
for full-time labor position, Buildings and Grounds Department.
Yep, and my understanding, I guess, is that we're creating and filling a full-time laborer position, and to do this, we're unfunding a part-time laborer and a building maintenance mechanic. That was the arrangement I think that was made. That's Kevin here? Yep, that, I mean, you're asking for that position, lower grade to be filled, and you're unfunding the part-time and the full-time to do it. Okay. We get a motion second?
You need a motion in a second.
Could I get a motion, for PW one?
Thank you.
A second?
I'll second. Action question?
Certainly. Do you want to ask a question, Mark?
Yes, please. So, I mean, here we are again, we're opening up or filling a full-time position and we're cutting, a part-time and.
And a full-time,
And a full-time.
yes.
Where does this wash out dollars and cents wise? It's real easy to sit here and say, yeah, it all fiddles out, but we don't have any numbers in front of us. And I didn't see the resolution. Maybe it's in the resolution.
I don't, and Lynn can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe this has anything to do with the tentative budget. This action is taking place right now. Is that, and it's budgeted this way in 26, Lynn? Because I know he came to the personnel committee and said, look, I've got a part-time laborer working at the jail. They think she does an excellent job. I have a building maintenance mechanic. I don't think I need that high of a level position. I would like the personnel committee to consider letting me create and fill a part-time laborer and then doing away with the funding for the mechanic and the part-time laborer that the person was in. Is that fair to say? But I would think, Mark, that is budgeted that way in the tentative budget.
Yes, and I think he's actually cutting another position because with that new position that you're creating now, we'll still be down one full-time and one part-time with this happening.
Yeah.
So even though he's kind of switching a couple of things around, it's a little bit of a reorganization. In total, the 26 budget has one less full-time and one less part-time. And with him doing this.
but this resolution is you're replacing 1.5 with 1, so it's resulting in basically a net savings to the local share.
And laborer is a lower title than the building mechanic. Is
I
that,
think it's really 2.5 in one,
Right.
what I'm saying.
okay,
Because even with doing this, we
Yep.
have the full-time laborer budgeted. In total, he's still down to one full-time person and one part-time.
yep,
So it's not just up 1, down 1.5. Right? That wouldn't work. That means you'd only be down a half. You know what I'm saying?
yes, but he's replacing a part-time laborer with one full-time laborer,
Yes, but he's
Yep.
eliminating,
a mechanic.
he's adding one and a full-time and eliminated 2 full-times. So net, it's 1. That's what I'm saying, is that if this is happening before the budget, and when you pass this, he still will be down 1 full-time and 1 part-time with creating this position.
Clear as mud?
Yes, it's about as clear as mud.
Okay. Any questions about this or concerns?
I don't have a vote, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. PW2, Ben, is the,
Yeah, the agreement with Pasco Building Automation System. So it's for the controls, the HVAC equipment in the county office building and the courthouse and mental health buildings.
2-year agreement? Yep.
I'll move it.
Yeah, I'll second it. Any questions? It is a 2-year agreement, $6,359 a year for the HVAC maintenance and service. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And
W3 is for the chair to sign a supplemental agreement to increase the number of miles with the estimated expenditure of the New York State DOT. I'm sure this is for plowing, correct, Brian?
Yes.
Yep. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Yep, and as Ben said, this is you're doing a supplemental agreement with New York State. They're adding additional miles to be plowed and they're also increasing your revenue. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And PW4 from October was tabled, authorizing director and the chair of the legislature of director of purchasing to issue an RFP, RFI for professional services related to 160 Genesee Street.
Okay,
Move it for discussion.
I actually, when I saw this today, I actually called in and asked because I was then confused, which isn't that hard to believe. But this was tabled till this month, but then I had heard that, that we weren't required to do an RFP or a resolution to do RFPs, RFIs, that there could be plans made to move some of this work forward without this resolution. That's the unclear part I have. I think there has been some work done on this, Amanda?
Yes, yeah, so I've been working with the chair and Rich provided a framework for an RFI on the county office building. And Jonathan requested that this week, because he's going to put together a communication to update the legislature related to the details of it.
Okay, so the request was to have him do the communication of where we stand with RFPs to clear the building out and seeing if there's any interest from developers to repurpose the building or use it for something. Is that the case?
I mean, that's what I understood, that the communication should come from the chair to the legislature related to several topics in it.
And so
Or do we have to have the RFP or the RFI?
I don't know if we need to take this off the table or not. That's what I'm confused about. This authorizes to do both of those things, RFPs and RFI.
So if we were to get submissions from any RFP, anything we were awarding, we would have to have a resolution in order to award. you could if this came off the table and went through, you could reference that as like a starting point, but it's not required in order to do a bid. If that helps.
All right. So do we want to take this off the table and move it? Or wait for the report?
Well, we move in second,
Okay,
so I guess further discussion or vote is in order.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
You're opposed? Okay, now we'll go back to the
It's a
agenda.
comment. It really doesn't matter.
Right.
Just that they have support. That's it.
Fred made us vote on it, so. I would have said, yeah.
Yeah, Fred.
Got broad shoulders.
Fred, it's all your fault. Mhm. Okay,
That's an easy one to take, Fred.
yes,
I'll take two of them today.
all right, then,
The Public Works is done.
all right, great. And we'll go on to Health and Human Services.
Yes, Madam Chair, Health and Human Services met with 7 resolutions which passed through committee. HH1 is a create and fill. Create comes from the language of help. We've been through that often enough to understand that that requires a create. The other piece to this is that it allows us to fill this position under several different job descriptions, therefore increasing the potential for bringing in a candidate pool. These are 100% funded positions.
I'll move HH1 as amended. Or with the department's amendments to it. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, Mark?
How long has this position been vacant?
This has been a revolving, WIC has a revolving door sort of vacancy. This is part of a backfill issue from another position vacant. Specifically, I could ask.
Yes, so the original resolution was to fill a WIC coordinator in August, I believe is when that one went through. And it had backfill language in it. And we hired an internal candidate who vacated an existing position, which is the supervising nutritionist title, and that's been vacant since September. We haven't been able to fill it. So we're asking for the resolution to be amended so that we can add competent professional authority and nutritionist, which are lower level. Get someone in to start serving the participants.
And if I'm not mistaken, Diane is the one, I'm not blaming you now, but she basically said, if you're going to fill behind with a different title, you have to get authorization to pick one of those titles. So it's the same position you're going to fill behind, but you have the ability to pick 3 different titles.
Yes, it's just one position being filled.
I'm gonna go back to my original question. How long has this position been vacant? Since August or?
September.
Since September.
September.
September. Okay, and you said it's 100% funded.
Yes.
Is that fringe and benefits, or is that just the work that the person does?
It is, it's the WIC grant itself funds all of the WIC staff, salary and fringe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Two is a request for a fill.
Did we vote on it?
One.
All in favor?
Aye.
HH2 is an authorization for the Public Health Department to fill a public health educator or a senior public health educator within the health department. This came originally through the Personnel Committee as a Director of Health position, Director of Health Ed and Information and Services, which was declined with the suggestion that they come back with public health or senior health director, which the personnel committee did approve.
Can I get a motion for this?
I'll move to.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion.
I'd like to bundle HH3, HH4, HH5. All of these are resolutions which allow us to enter into contracted services. HH3 is a contracted service through our public health rabies program with Megan Williams for rabies specimen preparation and services. Authorizing HH4 for social services to accept CAPTA CARA funding contract internally with our Cayuga County Mental Health Center for a part-time behavioral clinician, which would be embedded right within our child welfare service unit. And HH5 authorizing the legislature and the commissioner of DSS to enter into contracts with various clinical psychologists to conduct clinical parental and child assessments for the child welfare cases.
I'll move the bundle.
I'll second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. HH6 is an authorization to purchase. This is IT equipment within the Department of Social Services. The IT department has regularly been reviewing equipment within the county and has found, I believe, 6 or 9 laptop devices that are no longer serviceable, out of date. And this resolution would allow IT to facilitate the purchase of the appropriate equipment for social services.
I'll move 6.
Second question.
Yep.
I thought we were having IT do most of the purchasing on stuff, or is it just software? Is the hardware still in the departments, or where are we with that?
We collaborate with the Department of Social Services, so we worked hand in hand to acquire this quote, and it is hardware specific.
But it comes out of their budget.
Correct.
Because of their
And the
reimbursement.
software, if it was software, it would come out of your budget?
Yes, because it's centralized. Yep.
Thank you, Tom. Yep.
See, I thought everything went in a department that has reimbursement. They have to make the purchase in the first instance so that it can be reimbursed. You do all of it, but it's embedded in departments that have reimbursement, I thought.
That's correct. For the software, we try to centralize as much as possible with the IT budget, though. I know there are specific
Okay.
applications that we are purchasing for DSS, yes.
Yep.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
HH7 is an amendment to the mental health budget, 2025 budget, which would allow us to bring in state aid at the amount of $7,277 and move that state aid to Unity House, a contracted agency.
Move 7.
I'll second. All right. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Heidi. Government operations, confirming pay rates for 25 and beyond for the election cycles. Keith was on, spoke about this. This would be establishing a range of rates for this year and next year. I can go over GL2 is authorizing the chair to renew a contract with Auctions International for 1 year, January 26th through 27 for auctions of services for surplus assets. And GL3 is authorizing the chief information officer to purchase computer hardware. And I think, Tom, you brought that forward based on the dollar amount and the requirement to come to the legislature for purchases over 7,500.
Move the bundle.
Second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Planning? Not no.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Planning has 5 resolutions. All have been through committee. PL 1, authorizing the chairperson of the legislature to sign the WIOA local plan 25 to 29 for workforce innovations and opportunity act.
Move it. Yeah, or
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
PL 2, authorizing the transfer of funds within the Cayuga County Employment and Training 2025 budget.
Thank you.
Second. Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
PL 3, grant 1-year license agreement with the Wasco Paddles LLC to provide the service of renting kayaks, canoes, paddleboards, and similar recreation equipment. Emerson Park property.
Move it.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
PL 4, authorize the removal of shelter at Emerson Park.
Move it.
Second.
Any questions? Soil and Water's doing the work? Or what? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
And last but not least, authorizing to accept grant and establish a capital H account for the replacement of the cabin at Emerson Park. This resolution is a little misleading. What this will do is, this construction will put sides on the buildings out back that are open to house some of the, property in the log cabin.
Okay. Move it. Move it. Second.
Yes.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd just like to mention there was a late resolution added to HHS. Don't actually have a resolution for her. I'll let HH.
Oh, did it get in the packet?
It was approved for as a late resolution, maybe not.
It's not on there? No. Yes, it had to do with allowing them to accept funding for the screening tool that we all talked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that isn't here.
It was approved, but I don't think it's been added to the agenda.
Okay.
With everybody's permission.
Make a motion to bring it right to ledge.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay, and it'll show up as an HHS resolution. Okay. All right. Okay.
All in
Aye.
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Judicial and Public Safety had a total of 4 originally. JP2 was pulled, which leaves us with JP1, 3, and 4, which those 3 went through committee. We'll start out by presenting JP1. Authorizing the chairperson of the Cayuga County Legislature and the Cayuga County 911 Administrator to accept a SFY 2025 Next Generation grant for the implementation of a new NG 911 telephone system, recorder, and associated connectivity.
I move JP1.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
JP3, authorizing the sale of a 2017 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD Crew Cab to the Cayuga County Soil and Water Conservation District. This is from the Sheriff's Department.
Move it.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
And JP4, authorization to fill 1 vacant part-time emergency services dispatcher position due to a resignation.
I'll move that.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, I guess we could adjourn this meeting and go to the special meeting of,
That's correct.
okay, and I can still hold Ways and Means 1 till after that?
Yes, I believe it is also on the.
Okay, great. All right.
All right.
I get a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
So
Okay. When everyone gets back, 5 minutes or? Okay,
Jonathan's out there.
okay. I'd like to call the Special Ways and Means meeting to order. Tonight, we're going to be going over some additional departments and some changes from the 25 to 26 budget. Lynn will go over them. Jonathan and Lynn are here, and we have the various departments that are left over to review, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
I handed out a sheet that just kind of highlights some of the changes in the departments that are from the team. We're gonna start with the Public Works Committee. The highlight for Building and Grounds is that, from the 25 to 26 budget, they are down one full-time maintenance mechanic and one part-time laborer. We have included up to $50,000 in professional services in the, basically the county office building account that'll be used kind of, for continuation of any environmental work that we've kind of been doing, or, getting remediation is kind of up in the air what we'll need that for. We included a little bit of funding for some maintenance projects in the buildings, but some of the lines have been reduced a little bit to try and use the capital reserve or repair reserve. An example of that would be the 2 boilers at the courthouse. We took them out of the budget, so if we need to do them, we use the repair reserve or capital reserve for that. The next budget on here would be Emerson Park. I apologize in my head, I think it was Public Works, so that's further on the agenda tonight. I didn't realize the committees had been switched earlier this year, so we didn't cover them the other night. So Emerson Park, we did budget to have it for the seasonal stand by $10,000. The equipment requests we eliminated for a snow pusher and a mower replacement. The Parks Improvement account that was reduced to the request of to $86,000 from $391,000. The requests that there were in the budget will be used instead from the ARPA funds that are set aside for Emerson Park improvements. The same goes for the professional services. We reduced the budget to $40,000 from $150,000. Again, those requests would be used from the ARPA funds that need to be spent for 26.
And if I may ask, money from the ARPA funds that with these, the way we're moving this money around, that will eliminate all of the ARPA funds.
No, I don't think it would take all the ARPA funds away. There's enough in the ARPA, about 600,000 to cover the requests, and then probably a little bit more stuff for other things that need to get done.
So, I mean, we are gonna eventually somehow or another before the deadline, get rid of that 600,000, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, it'll be spent. The next thing on the list here would be some cuts of the agricultural museum. There was a decrease in part-time salaries by $36,000. And the production and the promotion of events line, $2,000 from 17 down to $3,000.
Can I ask the decrease in the part-time salary by 36,000? The total budget amount for that was, sorry.
I have to. And page 136.
It's 86,000.
Okay, so
Yeah. 85,866.
okay, and that,
Sorry, it was 121. The original request is 121,000. We reduced it to 85.
okay.
See that there on page 136.
Question.
Uh-huh.
So with the Ag Museum, we're cutting the part-time salary line. So the people we're paying, or they're paying, be here while we're here, we're gonna cut that.
So what's your question? Yes, we're cutting it.
So should they just leave when they run out of money?
Well, the museum is open 7 days a week, 367 days a year. There's an opportunity to reevaluate operational. There is also we spend 1,000 visitors. We're to charge 200. We also have these costs and I other way. That does not require the taxpayers to use funds. These operations.
Can they bill us for the time that we're here?
Sure they. Okay. When you pay the gas?
I totally understand that. But we don't pay their part-time employees. Only through this. And no problem, thank you.
The next budget on the sheet was just weights and measures department. There's no significant staff budget. Next page, highway department. The budget did include full-time MEO operator. It was a decrease in the transfer from the general fund to the D fund of $900,000. We did reduce the funding for a capital bridge project that was requested in here. The funding is available in the capital reserve from previous highway projects that there is some new funding there that we redirect project. If we proceed and plan to move forward with the project. We kind of continued about the same level of investment in equipment at the highway. The request was $180,000 and that was maintaining that.
Cutting the transfer from the A fund to the D fund by 900. You use the highway reserve or the highway fund balance to help that, or you?
Yes.
So you took an amount of money because the highway had a decent fund balance?
Yeah, I mean, it ends up, it's a reduction in revenue to the D fund. And so, if their expenditures are higher than their revenues, which it is on the front page, you can see by $600,000, so it's used in their fund balance. That's 3,000. Their fund balance has gone up quite a bit the last couple of years. We feel it's helping. The next committee will be the public safety committee. This department is the assigned council department. There is an increase in local share here due to some increased payments for the assigned council representation that we're required to provide. The net increase for that department is about $262,000. Next is the 911 department. We did eliminate one full-time emergency services dispatcher of the about 4 vacant positions that they currently have. That would be one full-time position. The coroner, there was no significant change there. District attorney, we will eliminate one full-time assistant district attorney position from the requested budget. Emergency management office, there was no significant changes in that department. The probation department is next. We eliminated one full-time probation officer that is currently vacant. DWI, no significant changes. And we have the sheriff's department. We eliminated funding for one full-time deputy sheriff position that's currently vacant. We did increase the overtime to $400,000 from $200,000. That is running over. We budgeted to purchase 2 park patrol cars instead of 3. The jail, we increased the overtime to $600,000 from $300,000. Still running significantly higher than that, but we have all the vacant positions are budgeted there, so trying not to budget twice for the same expenditure. There is no purchasing of any vehicles for the jail. We did reduce the building maintenance line by $100,000. Additional funds for repairs that are required to be done there. We kind of got to take that from the reserve, so because that's in the budget left.
Is that the overall county reserve? The sheriff's?
It's the county repair reserve. That would be building, it would be it's the building.
Okay, all right.
During the jail.
Yeah.
Itself.
Yeah.
Which is the building, so. The next is the Ways and Means Committee, purchasing department, no significant changes. The finance department, we proposed eliminate the funding for one full-time grant manager. Revenue, did increase some from interest earnings and deposits. Increased that by $200,000. The auditor, no significant changes. Real property, eliminated the funding for one full-time senior GIS specialist. County treasurer, no significant changes. Civil service, we eliminated the funding for one full-time human resource assistant and added funding for one part-time human resource associate. A couple other items to just highlight here would be that health insurance increased by $1.3 million. 15%. It's been also an increase in retirement contributions across the board. As required by the New York State Controller's Office, that was about an additional $400,000. Cornell Cooperative Extension, that decreased $300,000. The provision for salary adjustment account increased to $1 million to cover salary increases in 2026 that have not yet been determined. There we have included a transfer to casualty and liability coverage of $250,000. Again, I'm pointing out the transfer to the highway fund, which was an expense, and the A fund that decreased by $900,000, which is offset by the revenue loss. So it's a expenditure. The A fund.
Question there.
Yeah.
Is it possible to take more from the D fund and then decrease the transfer by a little bit more?
I'm gonna look at my spreadsheet here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm projecting that if we use 607 that we have in the budget right now, that we would have an unearned of about $3 million.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part.
They would have about a $3 million fund balance. We're using 600,000 that we have proposed right now. The only thing that I caution you against is if we use it, too quickly, then we're gonna have a big swing in that expenditure account going forward. I mean, we already dropped it by 900,000. I would just caution about doing it too much because what's gonna happen is by 2027, 28, you're gonna have to up that number by $500,000 again. You know what I mean? You kind of don't want it to swing too much because it's just gonna hit you again in another budget year pretty quick. Yeah, that's all kind of just a decision to make,
All right, we used to use over $7 million from the A fund to the D fund, correct? A year ago or 7.5 we gave. And this year we're talking about giving 6.9. His operation costs haven't gone down. The balance is coming from taking it from the fund balance. I know this doesn't sound like I'm.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Right. That's all right. I mean, you just have to realize that he also has a fund balance.
Mhm.
And the only way they're ever gonna get their money is from taxing in the A fund, the property tax.
Yep.
Transfer the money over there. So if you drop that transfer.
And we have.
His fund, and it will drop his fund balance
Okay.
even more. If you do it, and it makes the A fund look better. But if you use it too quickly over here, we can just have a swing right back by 2028 to say, oh, you gotta increase that number by 500,000 again.
I guess because we're dropping the transfer from the A fund to the D fund, but it's being made whole by his reserve or his fund balance. He's not spending that much less money, correct?
No, he's using his fund balance. We have
Right.
budgeted that he's gonna use 620,000 with fund
Right.
balance. So if you change it, then he'll use, if you change it by 200,000, he'll use 800,000 with fund balance.
How much did the D fund increase this last year?
It went up significantly from 23 to 24. From 500,000 to 1.8. And now we're projecting it'll be about 3.5 million at the end of 25. The 500,000 was low though. I mean, I've got this going back a ways and we're at 2.5 million, 2.3, 1.3, 2.9, 2.1, 1.2, 500,000. And then I don't think we used anything of their fund balance last year. It got too low. So
And
that's the
right.
risk you run, is that if you go too low. So, you know, you could make a motion, use some of it. It's kind of just a judgment call, honestly.
Kind of the same theory why you don't want to use the fund balance for the county, it get too low. If we have,
That ship sailed.
yeah. And that's what we're trying to kind of make different at this point in time. But I mean, the same principle, you don't want that low either.
Well,
Right,
The
we're
difference
using,
is-
we're using 6.6, I'm sorry, I misspoke, so right from 7, with a 7.7, then we had 7.5, and now it's going to 6.6. That's already a big drop, that I don't really recommend dropping it more, because it's gonna end up, you're just gonna have to raise that number again in the 27 budget and the 28.
the difference is, oh, that fund balance has actually been increasing, correct, Brian?
The last couple of years, yeah. We had because of last year's winter,
Right,
revenue coming in from the state snowplow so much higher than we budgeted. That's where that big upswing came. In this 25, at the end of 25. But that doesn't, if it doesn't snow next year, that won't be there.
and the DM fund balance is only gonna be about $700,000 at the end of 25, so, you know, those two kind of work together over here. And we've got the A fund over here, so we started shorting them too much over there, it's just gonna have to come right back again from the A fund.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I guess historically, where has that D fund been? You rattled off some numbers a little while ago, Lynn. It was like 2.1 a few years ago, and
Starting back at 20, it was like 2.9, then 2.1, then 1.2, then 600,000. It
So
got
we-
a lot. That was just a 20.
so we've never been as high as we are right now.
No.
Okay, thank you.
And that's why you're using 750 of it, right?
600.
Or 6?
6.
Oh, I thought you upped it.
You're getting confused about the transfer and
Okay.
the fund balance.
All right.
The difference between the expenditures and the revenues with the transfer of 6.6 is 607,000 deficit. So when he runs a deficit, you use your fund balance.
Mhm.
So that's
Okay.
what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
So what we're kind of discussing is if we lower the 6.6 to say 6.4, then he would use 807,000 of his fund balance.
Mhm.
So
They're using 900,000 now.
Right.
Because you got a ATM in this.
yes. Yeah, well, I'm done with what I was gonna say.
Uh-huh.
Fancy. The legislature.
Thank you, Lynn.
There is an opportunity tonight to make some amendments to the tentative budget, correct? I wanted to have for consideration or have the committee look at the fact that PW3 was presented tonight and passed. that called for an agreement with the state to increase the number of miles that we plow, as well as add funding to the current agreement the highway has with the state. As this happened after the tentative budget was released, an amendment can be made to increase the revenue from the current 550,000 to 750,000. And with the increase in revenue, comes the increase in the roads to be plowed. Since the budget cut one MEO position in an effort to reduce spending for the county, leaving the highway with less staff than they predicted they needed, this is a way, in my opinion, that we could add back the one MEO to keep the highway at current staffing, not excess staffing, and be able to fund it by accepting this increased revenue and then looking at adding the expense back in. This would still, if we're increasing revenue by 200,000, salary and fringe benefits of an MEO is about $71,187. So the difference there could be put back to the fund balance, the highway.
They would use less of their fund balance.
So, right, so there would be less of need to use that because the revenue has been increased. Okay, so what I was thinking is that to ask for a motion to amend the budget to increase the revenue line D50100-43302 from 550 to 750,000. Increase the full-time salary line D511-510051 from 2,121,214 to 2,173,480, which is actually adding an amount of $52,274 to that line, which is the salary of the MEO. You would then have to increase Social Security, D51101-58001, and you would increase that line by $3,886 to cover the Social Security for that position. You would have to increase the health insurance line, D51101-58002, by $10,380, which would be the health insurance cost for that position. Dental insurance, D51101-58004, and increase that line by $355. Increase that line, yes, $355 to cover the dental. And then increase workers' comp, D51101-58005, by $26,460. No, I'm lying, by $564. Just add that to the workers' comp line, it would go from 25,896 to 26,460. So that is the amendment I'm making to increase the revenue, increase the expense, and realize the additional amount of revenue as well.
I'll move it.
Okay. Okay.
And this would have no effect on
No, because
this budget neutral for the most part.
yes, there would be hundred and some odd dollars of increased revenue that isn't realized in the tentative budget because we're accepting more revenue. And yes, the tentative budget did not recognize this increase in funding. And with that increase in funding, there's an opportunity to restore the MEO that was cut and not have a negative effect on the tax levy or the fund balance draw.
Thank you.
Got a motion, a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have an amendment to propose.
Okay.
I propose the following amendment to the DSS budget to fund the third security guard. This would be to increase professional services expense line A 60104 54059 by $67,000. The line will go from 737,000 to 804,000. Increase DSS administration revenue, line A 60100 43610 by 33,500. As DSS receives approximately 50% reimbursement for these security guards. So the line would go from 1,450,000 to 1,483,500. And then increase DSS salary savings line A 60101 51011 by 33,500. And that line will go from 300,000 to 333,500. These changes would fund the security guard within the DSS 2026 budget and not take away from county fund balance or increase county tax levy.
A motion and for discussion in a second.
Second.
Okay. I just wanted some clarity on this. The salary savings line is a line in the DSS budget where you set money aside because you think you're going to have vacancies. Is that how this works in the big departments? Lynn?
In DSS, yes, it's not in a lot of departments.
Do you do it in highway or?
I have to let.
Okay.
Yes.
In the highway, you do have a salary savings? Okay. I had talked with the department. They had said that last year's salary savings was $420,000. This year, it's $300,000. And I guess it is potentially realistic that we would hit that salary savings, even though we've cut positions, and that's the only question I have, and because we're asking to increase. We're taking a leap of faith that will perform as stated in this budget, because there's no cutting of expenses. There's just increasing a salary project or a revenue line, salary savings line. I initially was pushing for the reduction to 2 security guards, just not knowing much about anything. I'd asked Tom Bunn what we had done in terms of security for the building, and it was significant. Is he gone now? No. Yeah, I was just curious the investment we made, but
We take steps to lock those doors, put in panic buttons, put it up, put notification system. There's been steps taken in the kitchen to have the guards were added. Steps taken, situation of those. My concern, one of the things that I worked hard with this budget was not to over or artificially increase revenues just to make the budget look good. And my concern is just, it's just ways of this, necessary, but I just caution the board about over artificially increasing revenue lines, just make numbers on paper. That's one thing I try not to do is try to keep things in line with historical.
So currently we have 2 security guards and you're looking to add a third one?
We currently have three, and the budget proposes losing
Lose
one.
one, that's what I meant.
They come on in staggered waves. High risk in terms of the work they do, often guarded by one unarmed personnel. We have had an incident just in the last week in the treasurer's office, and we had an incident in the last 6 weeks, which related to an arrest and an indictment in DSS. It's a volatile work area. Just people don't go to DSS because they're in a great mood.
Great mood. Good way to put it.
Good things are happening.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make just a statement of observation. The folks that are there providing the security are in fact security guards. They are not law enforcement in any, they're not police officers or peace officers. So with that, they are allowed to man the magnetometer and observe that process. They are allowed to open and close the doors. They are allowed to follow an individual to a different office or whatever to accompany them. They're allowed inside, you know, while they're having an individual is having a conversation with the person that works in that office. If an issue should be or should happen, the only thing that they're allowed to do is observe the incident and dial 911. They don't have the right, I don't believe, to actually put their hands on anybody to stop anything other than verbally say, please stop what you're doing. And like I said, they're allowed to observe the incident and dial 911. That's it. I'm fairly certain about that, but I could be wrong. And I think, you know, the cost of, you know, what we pay those individuals is quite excessive for what they're allowed to do. I think a professional law enforcement person should be, you know, assigned to these positions. I know there's some laws that prevent that, but it's still a professional law enforcement's job to maintain the security of that facility and the safety of those folks that work there. And I don't disagree. It is, you know, a high risk job, but it should be done by a professional law enforcement officer.
Can I put you on the spot, Sheriff? Sure. Okay. I had sent the sheriff, all of the building upgrades around security that had been done, and I think you were surprised at how much there was there. But it is your opinion that it would not be in the best interest to go down to 2?
I don't believe those security upgrades take the place of an individual. So I think, yeah, I'll put it like this. So you've got one individual that's watching the magnetometer, right? Watching bags, looking at what's coming in every day. That leaves you, if you went down to 2, if they're doing that job, that would leave one other individual that's in that lobby area. If they have to escort somebody or walk to another area of the building, now you've got one person that you're asking to watch the magnetometer and also watch who's at the lobby and address those issues. It can't be done by one person. Breaks, lunch breaks, those types of things, that takes one person out of the 3 as it is. That area cannot be secured with 2 security guards. That building is just impossible. It has to be 3. But none of those upgrades take the place of any of the work that an individual is doing in the security area there. It has to be 3 people. Feel very strongly about that.
Ben?
Follow up with the sheriff. If you're down to one person watching people coming in the door and there's an issue, and the other second person is escorting somewhere else in the building, then there's nobody to enact all these safeguards that we have. So with the sheriff, absolutely 100%, when one person's occupied, then you don't have anybody to to provide any other service. That's a problem.
You have questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second for the amendments the department has made to try to establish the 67,000 in the budget for the 3 security. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Not in Ways and Means.
You too? Are you guys opposed?
I don't think,
We can't vote.
we can't vote.
No, I'm.
Mark, you on Ways and Means?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're in favor. Okay, so the
I
amendment
thought
passes.
we were in a special list. And,
No, this
Full
is.
edge.
all right, I get it.
Hey, fully opposed.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Track my vote.
Yeah. Those-
Caught again.
Tom?
If I may, I'd like to propose, under the sheriff's department budget, this would be dealing on page 107 with the, to do with the sheriff SRO. I'd like to, and I guess this was, I know the amendment came through at the same time tentative budget was happening, so this may have crossed past this
Omitted in error.
Arabia one. To increase revenue, line A 31100-42262, which is Sheriff SRO for $70,000. And also offsetting that increase expense, which is A 31101-5002 under part-time salaries, and increase that expense to 21,500. This would result in the new lines being for A 31101-51002 to go to 256,400. And A 31100-42262 would go to 400,000. And what this would be a result in increase of revenue of $48,500. And correct me if I'm wrong, Lynn, will that go?
I mean, I'm a little confused by this, that you're increasing the revenue by 70,000 and only the expense by 21,500.
Correct.
How could that be?
I don't,
So if you look at our budget sheet, we have the position in there, but the salary went in a little bit less. So it needed to be increased, but not the full 56,000 worth, only 21,000 for the revenue salary line. But none of the revenue was in for the position in Moravia School.
so was the 330,000 going to 370?
I have it going, I have my part-time line going to 256,400.
That was for salary.
Right, and what about the revenue?
In the revenue, I have it going to 400,000.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, so it's fully funded position.
So we approved the Moravia
Yeah.
SRO and the housekeeping in the budget
Yeah,
did not
so
get put in correctly.
Correct, and we did a detailed look at what the actual cost of equipment was gonna be last week, so that's why I increased revenue to that, because it's a realistic
Yep.
number for what it's going to cost.
And the school's going to pay all the expenses
All of it,
related to this SRO.
Yes,
Including the equipment.
And
including
yes.
equipment and a 15% admin fee on top of equipment and salary.
And the increase in revenue of 48,500, if possible, could it go to the tax levy? I guess-
Tax levy.
Yes.
It's your motion.
I'll move it.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
I guess I'm totally confused how
Me
you
too.
got extra money to reduce the tax
I
levy.
think the revenue went up by 70,000.
Revenue,
The
okay.
expense is going up by 21,500.
Because partial things were budgeted?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, all right. Yep. gotcha.
But let me, am I permitted to ask a question? Is,
Sure.
even though I'm not. We're talking about $70,000.
Increase in revenue. And then the expense is going up by 21,500.
So is it increase or savings?
The savings, so we're gonna
So
decrease
say
the tax levy.
that is
.0000 infinity one. Can we just put
We'll
that money?
accumulate it when we're all done. Maybe there'll be.
I think those type of savings should go in our fund balance, build it. Like, that's just my opinion. I think it should go in the fund balance. Because I think even with all of our hard work, unless we have a significant amount, we will tally that number up. I don't think we should decide where the money goes to look at how much money actually there is and how much impact that'll make on the tax levy. Because if we can, I think if we can hold off, I'm not on this committee, if we can hold off and just look at the total number. If it's a significant amount that can make the taxpayer save it, if not, it goes in our fund balance. We gotta start building our fund balance.
But as far as, Brian, you're saying to hold off on where we're designating it to go to?
Yeah, we're going.
I believe, don't we have to designate where it goes to?
Try and make an amendment to his motion. His motion right
He's
now
not
is
on
to.
the
I don't think,
Right.
I can't, but what I'm saying is that I think that,
Rather reduce the fund balance draw?
no,
No.
it-
Increase.
it-
I think
it's $620, right now it's the budget, cost $620,000. I think that's essentially available. This, I do believe that, most likely there's an opportunity to have that. So we gotta allocate the money now.
But can I click? There's no way to increase the fund balance. We either decrease the
Well,
fund
decrease our
balance
draws, use, that's what I meant.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
Yeah,
Which would increase the fund.
which it would essentially would
Okay.
increase the fund balance.
Yep.
Right? But I think that should be our focus. I think anything that we do as far as savings is not gonna be significant enough to increase the tax levy. That's just my opinion. Decrease, sorry.
Yeah, be careful.
I'm trying to get the, but.
Trying to get a balance.
No, I think my point's clear, but that's just my opinion, and that's what I'm be encouraging when everything comes to me, so.
Madam Chair, if I could jump in. So does the committee want to change it and adopt Mr. Muldrow's use?
No.
If not, then there's motion to amend and it just moves forward.
Move
And,
forward is.
and can make that amendment on the floor if he chooses.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like to call a question.
The committee.
Yeah,
Full edge.
Yeah,
Okay,
once.
At the full
yeah,
edge. Okay.
Yes, yep.
Question's been called?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Where do you want to go?
You have another?
Yes. Madam Chair Committee, I propose the following amendment to the Bureau and DWI budget to restore funding to the Bureau and DWI director from 0.80 time to full time. The personnel expense line A73101-51001 by $11,615. That line will go from 55,600 back to its 2025 funding of 67,600. And I propose decreasing the DWI revenue line 833-150-42615 by $11,615. The line would go from 83,700 to 72,085.
I'm confused.
I think we need to amend that. I know what you're trying to do, but I think we need to change it. Let's go to the page. It's 211.
Get your.
Well,
Yeah. Really like 4 accounts that are gonna have to get changed.
Right, because of where we put DWI money.
And one thing you do have to, I'm gonna caution you, is that the DWI fund reserve funds are getting low, very low, and just taking more from it may not be the most prudent thing. You'll be able to continue to use it.
Yeah.
I saw that, yeah.
So I'm looking at personnel and revenue,
Yep. Went through it.
A 73101 This is on page 211. At the top, under personnel services and fringe.
And then you also would have to increase revenue account on the same page, A 73100 43823. Same amount.
Yes. And what I'm trying to do is bridge and
Hold on a second, you also have to go to page 105. You have to increase the expenditure for the staff meetings and program. Increase the revenues for the program. So you have to increase account 33154 4118. That's the same 11,615. And then you have to, on the previous page, increase the revenue account A 33150 42615 by $11,615.
So what do we accomplish with this?
Yeah.
What you're doing though is this revenue that I just said you're increasing from $83,700, increasing $11,615. That money comes from the staff DWI reserve. What happens is you have fines are paid throughout the year. We also get some state aid throughout the year. That money comes in. We hopefully only use a portion of it to fund our staff DWI program. But ever since COVID, the amount coming in has dramatically shrinked. We used to have a fund balance of 300,000, 200,000, 150,000. At the end of 24, it was $77,000. So we upped it already last year when we merged the position to start taking 20,000 to cover the job instead of about 12 or 15 or whatever it was. So that's kind of what you're doing. And really the staff DWI program pays the youth bureau department to carry out their function. It's the same staff. That's why it's affecting 4 accounts when you do this adjustment. So it really, puts the expenditure back, but you are basically in a way kind of taking it from those staff DWI reserves. More of it every year is what you'd be doing. And I don't know if the state actually has to prove this or not. I think they either have to submit that they have to prove it for the amount of funding that we use. And they may, I don't, know if they will or they won't.
So is there a net increase or net savings? Because I'm confused.
There's a net increase in expenditures, but there's no change using the fund balance because we're also increasing revenues. But you took it from probably the staff.
So it's a wash.
Reserve now.
It's a wash, but you're taking it from your reserve. You just have to know that's what you're doing.
Okay.
It's unsustainable.
Okay, no, that's fine.
What is in the reserve? Where is
It's
that?
77, it's not in. It's-
Oh, so I can stop looking for it.
It's a balance sheet account in the financial statements, and it was about 77,000 at the end of 24.
So how would we know that?
Well, I'm just telling you, I mean, we don't.
Right, that's what I mean. I'm
We don't
just saying
present the balance. sheet.
prior to that, we wouldn't know that.
It sounds like we're making a decision based on
You're making
it.
an amendment right here, I wouldn't have known that you would be looking to do that, so. That is, I mean, just they have a lot of money in there, 300, 200,000 for years and years and years, but we said after since COVID, the fines have really decreased a lot. And that could be a good thing, right? Less people are getting arrested, the advertising is working, the message is out there, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? They have going on, so you're just gonna have to keep an eye on it, that this could become unsustainable at a point that there won't be the funds, and I think the state does have to approve the plan that they'll allow that much funding to be used.
So 20,000 is coming out right now.
Yeah.
So there's 75 that you believe, right? So it gives us at least 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen for 25. The year's not over yet.
I'm just
It could
saying.
go up a little, it could go down a little. I don't know.
But to me, it's kind of is sustainable because hopefully 3 years from now, we'll be in a better situation. Because that's an important program.
So,
Well, it's not that you wouldn't be doing the program, it's really funding the administration to keep the position full-time instead of part-time. That's what they are amending here.
okay,
The position was cut to 0.8 from full-time,
yeah, yeah.
28 hours,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
35.
What's the compliance part for the state in terms of, do they require you to have a minimum in the reserve? What's the part that you have to get approved?
I think whether this is appropriate use of the stop DUI money.
To move, I gotcha.
Right.
There's a motion on the table. Can we get a second?
Second for discussion.
Okay.
I guess we've already had discussion, but
All in favor of moving this motion?
Aye.
Opposed?
all right.
Will not pass.
And Tom, did you have another?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. This falls under the district attorneys. Starting out on page 82, for revenue, increasing revenue for line A11-650-41274. Increase revenue by 15,000, which would take that to 100,000.
This is,
And also on page 83, increase the revenue there from additional grant funding. A11-650-43839, increased by 22,653, which would bring that to a total of 218,982. And also now on page 87, also for additional grant funding, that'll be line A11-670-433, increased by $54,640. This would bring you to a total increase of revenue of $92,293. Also to offset that under expenses, to keep a full-time prosecutor, and also you'll be changing a full-time grant coordinator to part-time through restructuring that the district attorney has done or proposing. Expenses are, these are all on page 83. 11-61-51001, increase that by 37,838. A11-61-51002, increase that by 28,581. A11-61-58001, increase that by 4882. And A11-61-58002, increase that by 8934. And A11-61-58003, increase that by 10,310. And A11-61-58005, increase that by 711, which would be a total expenses of $91,256, which results in an increase in revenue of $1,037, and propose that to go to the general fund or fund balance, I'm sorry.
Okay, I need the second for discussion. I need the Reader's Digest version of this. There are 3 grants that have been realized since the tentative budget has been passed,
Correct, and I'll defer to the district attorney.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so your tentative budget does not recognize these 3 revenue streams.
Correct.
it was 90.
So that part of your budget can be amended to get you that increased revenue.
Correct, yes.
And then the reason you didn't have to increase the salary as much, because you had to restore the whole salary of the ADA and the fringe benefits.
Yes.
But the reason you didn't, I don't see that big numbers because you're using half of the,
Yes, so that would be moving the grant coordinator from full-time to part-time. And I deferred to Lynn's numbers on that. She was able to calculate that for me earlier today.
so that full-time grant coordinator was in your full-time salary line
Yes,
as well.
correct.
So that reduction in that person's salary offsets Oh, is that why it looks this way?
Yes.
So the salary and fringe is, to restore this, is 91,000. And the increase in revenue that wasn't recognized when you passed the tentative budget is the 92.
Yes.
Okay, that's where you get this $1,000 difference.
Correct.
We can reduce the tax levy now. Okay. Okay, and at some point that difference goes somewhere
Said the fund balance.
to reduce the fund balance draw.
And this is accounting for the part.
Heard you, Brian.
Well, these are the fringe benefits.
Right, but minus the part-time decrease as well.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
right, okay.
It's just not on there.
I just want, can I say, Madam Chair, and thank you, Tom, for that. I just think that, you know, as we go through these changes and modifications, just let's be conscious of how much money we can reduce the fund balance draw by compared to making a small insignificant change and still using the fund balance as well as increasing taxes. So just keep that in mind. That's all.
And honestly, most people feel that this cuts too deep. But this certainly does do a Herculean job of reducing the fund balance draw from 5.6 million to 600 and some odd $1,000. That is this, I mean, this doesn't come without pain, certainly in terms of a reduction in spending.
This budget reflects the true cost of government.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, we have a
In a second. No.
motion and second. All in favor for this reinstatement of this position under these circumstances?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any more amendments at this point, and we'll meet tomorrow at 5, is that the plan? Still want to do that tomorrow?
I believe if we feel we need to, digest anything else that was put forward tonight. If the rest of the committee is in agreement, let's.
You'd like to meet tomorrow too, Heidi?
Yeah.
All right,
I am unable to meet tomorrow, so you're aware of your commitment with my son.
right, we'll just changing your budget.
Is it ways and?
It's a special ways and means last one, and then.
Don't vote.
Excuse me. Oh, that's a good idea. I mean,
I'm glad that was you, not me.
Ways and Means Committee, there is an idea that we could meet ahead of the full ledge meeting next Tuesday, like at 5, and then go right into the ledge meeting instead of another night tomorrow.
That's fine. I'm in agreement with that.
Because with this,
Instead of tomorrow?
Yes,
All right.
meet at 5 for this, further any amendments to the budget, and then go right into the legislative.
Good with that. I don't want to miss
You want to do it at 5?
this my.
Special ways at 5. We have to do anything with ways and like draft. Like there's no.
Ways and means one.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
5 o'clock on.
Are we adjourned?
No.
Not yet. So
So
Ways and Means 1 is going to be amended to include all of the suggestions that passed tonight. And that'll move forward to the meeting next week at Ways and Means.
And what if,
If there are further amendments or adjustments.
will that be difficult if there are further amendments than an hour before the legislative meeting?
yeah,
The more concise the proposals are, the easier it's going to be because it took us a while to get through some of the concept. And again, I'll make the offer if anybody wants some assistance, reach out to Lynn or myself or bring them up on the Or on
I
Tuesday?
mean, we could meet the Monday, have a special meeting.
I think.
The Monday
Before
before.
or another day, because, after a long, budget meeting, it might be a little tiresome for a kid over here. I don't know, I'll speak the rest of them, but me, I'm a little tired.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it feels rushed doing it right before the meeting.
Yes.
I'm a little exhausted.
So one thing at a time, so just so that everybody knows, Ways and Means, one, when you see it again, we'll have these amendments passed. And then we'll pick it up wherever we are at our next meeting.
So we can have a special Ways meeting tomorrow, or we can have a special Ways meeting Monday before the Tuesday ledge meeting.
We can't do anything.
Can't make that.
We can't do anything without
Monday?
discussion. Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yeah, got a minute?
What is the sense of I'd think we could do it Monday, the day before the ledge meeting.
Day before or just the day of before?
I gotta,
Well, you're saying it's going to be difficult
It might be difficult
to do it right
We do our
before.
best, but it might delay the start of what.
Still Monday.
Monday? Monday.
what'd you say?
Less time.
I was just saying, would it be difficult for Lynn, because she's the one that has that sheet that goes behind WM1. She plugs it into an Excel sheet that if,
Yeah, she'd have to pull it
It's
But-
different, 12 hours, 24 hours,
instead of 6 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
6 minutes, thank you.
Anybody want the jobs list?
yeah, because you don't want them to pass us that.
Your campaign manager, help put signs out.
Oh, my God. All right, we'll have instead of the special meeting tomorrow, we'll have the meeting on Monday and the ledge meeting on Tuesday. And then any further amendments that we want to put in, we can bring in Monday. They can be prepared for the meeting on Tuesday.
Time Monday, Monday.
Monday at 4 or 5?
Four.
4. All right, Monday at 4.
We're done.
4:05. Okay,
Finally,
Monday at 4.
Motion adjourned.
Motion, yeah.
You better adjourn.
Amanda, just, let me know what I'm doing. So Monday.
Yeah, I told
I